Hello students, welcome back. Let's take a look at the summary of chapter 7, triangles. So the things that we learned, the first thing was congruence. So two things are said to be congruent, two or more things are said to be congruent if they are equal in both shape and size. So if you take a circle, two circles would be congruent if their radii are equal. For example, if I have this circle here of 5 centimeter, 5 units, then I have another circle here. If the radii here, if the radius is 5 units, then you can say that circle 1 is congruent to circle 2 because both have equal radii. The singular is radius, and if I am taking both the radius into consideration, they are known as radii. Similarly, if I have a square, then this two squares are congruent to each other. Let's say square 1 and square 2. Square 1 and square 2 would be congruent to each other only if the sides are equal. So if suppose this is 4 centimeters, obviously all of these sides would be 4 units. And if the side here is 4 units, then I can say that S1 is congruent to S2. Why? Because since this is 4 units and this is my square, even this will be 4 units, 4 units and 4 units. Correct? So for square, if the sides are equal. Similarly, now if I have two triangles, then two triangles can be proved congruent using different tests of congruency. But when two triangles are congruent, it is the correspondence is very important. For example, if I have triangle PQR congruent to triangle MNZ, if I say that triangle PQR is congruent to triangle MNZ, then what does this mean? That P corresponds to vertex P corresponds to vertex M, vertex Q corresponds to vertex N, and vertex R corresponds to vertex Z. Similarly, if I say, so in congruent triangles, what do I have? Corresponding vertices. So here what do I have? P corresponds to M, Q corresponds to N. The correspondence sign is given by a dash and two arrows at the sides of the dash. So N and R corresponds to Z. Similarly for the sides, if I say PR for example, so PR will correspond to which? Now P corresponds to M, so M, and R corresponds to Z. So PR corresponds to MZ. So I am going to go like this. If I am taking PR, I am going to take MZ. Okay. So corresponding vertices are equal. You can take it in any order. Similarly, we have corresponding angles equal. If you notice angle RQP, it is the same as this angle, right? But if I say angle RQP, how am I going to write for the other angle? Am I going to say MNZ because both are the same angles? No, I am not going to say MNZ. Since I am going from RQP, I will go from Z and M. So correspondence is very important. So this was 1, this was 2, and corresponding angles are equal. Right? Now let's see the different tests of congruency. We learned 4 different tests. One was the side angle side, then we had angle side angle or angle angle side, then we had side test, and RHS test, which is nothing but right angle hypotenuse side test. So what is side angle side test? If I have two angles that are congruent to each other by the side angle side test, what does it mean? That any two sides are equal to each other the corresponding sides, that means PQ is equal to MN and QR is equal to NZ, and the angle in between them is congruent to each other, then we can say that the two triangles are congruent by the side angle side test of congruence, which means side, angle and side, side, angle and side. That means the angle between the angle that is present for proving the congruency should lie between the two congruent sides. So you have SAS test, then we have the side test of congruency, which means that if three sides, corresponding sides are equal, then the two triangles can be proved congruent. That is PQ is equal to MN, QR is equal to NZ and RP is equal to ZM. Therefore, the two triangles are congruent by the side test of congruence. So, I wrote ASA, then I have side. I'm sorry, we missed out on ASA. So, let's move on to first of all, I'll just write SSS over here. Missed out ASA, so we'll discuss ASA. Now, for proving any two triangles congruent, we need three factors. Out of these three factors, it is essential that you should have at least one side given as equal. If you have been given three angles equal, then let's say if I have three angles equal of two triangles. Suppose this is 60 degrees, each of these angles is 60 degrees. I can draw another triangle with the same measurement, 60, 60 and 60, where this one side would be 5 units, 5 units, 5 units. I can draw another triangle with the same angles, that is 60, 60, 60 as 10 units, 10 units and 10 units. Therefore, angle property is not angle property is not valid for proving congruency of two triangles. However, if I just give one side equal to of one triangle equal to the other side of the triangle, the corresponding sides, let's say even if this is 5 centimeters and I draw a triangle here, draw an angle of 60 degrees here, you will notice that this is 60, this is 60, this will become 5 and this length here. So, let me just mark my triangle in red color. Even this side will become 5 units. So, out of any three given data for a triangle, at least one side should be congruent and the other two angles can be congruent, which proves the ASA test of congruence, or even you can say AAS. So, here ASA or AAS is valid, but SAS is not valid. For SAS, ASS is not valid. I will show this to you why it is not valid when we move on to inequalities in a triangle. But for right now, just take this as a summary. Then we have the RHS test of congruence. So, what is RHS test of congruence? If I have been given two right angle triangles, let's say ABC and PQR, where angle B is 90 degrees and angle Q is equal to 90 degrees. I have the hypotenuse equal to each other, let's say 5 units, and any one side is given as congruent. Let's say this is 4 units and this is 4 units. If you notice, then this is side angle, side angle or ASS, but this is valid. Why? Through the hypotenuse side test. So, if you have ASS test of congruence for hypotenuse for right angle triangles such that one congruent side is the hypotenuse, then you can say that the two triangles are congruent by the RHS test of congruence, which is known which is also given by right angle hypotenuse side test. So, the right angles are obviously going to be equal. Out of the two given sides, hypotenuse has to be equal and any one side has to be equal, the corresponding sides of the two triangles. So, therefore, the two triangles can be said to be congruent based on the RHS test of congruency. Now, we will move on to the equalities of angles and side in an isosceles triangle. So, what did we learn in isosceles triangles? Let's say I have my triangle ABC, which is isosceles such that AB is equal to AC. then the angles opposite equal sides are equal. So which is the angle opposite AB? It is angle C. And which is the angle opposite AC? It is B. So in isosceles test, what did we learn? That the angles that are opposite to equal sides are equal. Therefore AB is equal to BC, and hence angle C is equal to angle B. Here AB is equal to AC, so angle C is equal to angle B, because C is opposite angle B and angle B is C is opposite side AB and angle B is opposite side AC. Similarly, if I have given my triangle such that two angles are congruent, then I can say that the sides opposite these equilateral triangles are also congruent, and therefore my triangle is isosceles, right? So if I have been given that any two angles, let's say angle B is equal to angle C, then the opposite side, so side opposite angle B is AC, is equal to side opposite angle C, which is AB. Since I have two sides equal, I can say therefore triangle ABC is isosceles. So this one is just the converse of your isosceles triangle when the two sides are given to be equal. Then we have equilateral triangle. What did we learn in equilateral triangle? If I have my triangle ABC, if it is equilateral, then all the three sides, we know that all the three sides are equal, but each angle is 60 degrees. So in any equilateral triangle, each angle, that is angle A, is going to be equal to angle B, which is going to be equal to angle C, which is going to be 60 degrees, and obviously the sum, as we can see, is 60 plus 60 plus 60, which is 180 degrees. This also proves the theorem that we learnt in the previous chapter, that the sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Now let's move on to the inequalities in triangle. So what did we learn in inequalities of triangle? That if I have a triangle ABC such that side AC is greater than side AB, so the angle opposite AC, which is angle B, is going to be greater than the angle opposite angle opposite AC, angle B, and is going to be greater than the angle opposite AB, which is angle C. And the converse is also true. If we've been given that angle B is greater than angle C, then side AC will be greater than side AB. So what did we learn in inequalities? That in any triangle, angle opposite to larger side is large, and in any triangle, side opposite to larger angle is large. So now using this, I will tell you why ASS test is not congruent. So let's say I have my triangle ABC and PQR, correct? If I say this side is equal to this side is equal to this side, and this angle is equal to this angle, correct? Now this side, if I say that these two sides are equal to these two sides, if you notice, this side corresponds to this angle. So obviously if I say that this side is equal to this side, and so this angle will be equal to this angle. Why? Because this angle corresponds to this side. Similarly, this angle corresponds to this side. So instead of three proofs that you need to prove that two triangles are congruent, we are getting two. Even if I don't mark these angles as congruent, I do have this as equal. These two angles equal. Why? Because the opposite sides are equal. See, BC is equal to QR, therefore angle A is going to be equal to angle P. Similarly, if I have been given that this angle here, these two angles are congruent. These are by default. Why? Because AB is equal to PQ, therefore angle C is going to be equal to angle R, because they are the corresponding angles for the given sides. Therefore, ASS test is not valid. And the last inequality that we learned is, in any triangle, if I have my triangle ABC, then any one side, let's say BC, is always going to be less than the sum of two sides. So BC is always going to be less than AC. Similarly, if I take AB, then AB will always be less than AC plus BC. Similarly, if I take AC, it is always going to be less than AB plus BC. So what is the last inequality? That any one side is always going to be less than the sum of the remaining two sides of a triangle. So with this we wind up the summary as well as chapter 7 triangles. Let's continue with the next chapters in the forthcoming classes. Thank you.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.epathshala.org or visit our ePathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win ePathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.